I've painted in the insignia, and I've just put on the 2 decals that I need to put on, so they're still drying. Tail, rudder is painted in. I've done some light chipping with a natural metal colour, AK 3rd gen. I use that for chipping for an aluminium look, just lightly around the floats, and a little bit on the wing root and on the back of the float there. Just light chipping. I'm going to put a wash on this one different to normal. I'm not using the Flory models wash this time. I'm going to use AK. It's blue for Panzer Grey. I think that should go nice with the colour scheme. What else have I got to do here? I've done the float with the wash already, just to try it to make sure I'm happy with it, and I've got chipping on that as well. I've been working on this as well, so I started off with a red, but I've dulled it down so it would fade in the ocean. So I used oil paints, dot filter technique, dots over and just brush it down. I've given the details a wash, and I'm still going to do a bit more on it. I'm going to give it in some areas used a rust wash, and I might put a bit of rust pigment on certain areas, like surface rust that's starting to rust away. I've painted up my seagulls. So they're ready to go. Put them away so I don't break them or lose them. And I've been working on the base a bit more, so I've gone on to the next step where I've put on the, so you use, it's not going to show because of the bright white. So I used PVA glue, diluted a touch with water, layer it on, and I just use toilet paper, tissue paper. You lay that on, then you come on top with a brush. I used not this particular one, but something similar, and you just dab it till you get out the joins of the toilet paper, and if you got the fancy designs on it, if you keep pressing it, you'll get rid of that as well, and it gives that rippled water effect. I'm still going to need to build up a bit of area, so this morning I've worked this area, filling in towards where the buoy will sit more, and I'll need to do it for in the float as well. Add some more to bulk it up before I start painting that. So that's slowly getting there as well. So I've primed the pilot. I need to look up some images, or not images, try and find the actual colour for his uniform. I think it'll be a tan style, but I'll have to have a look and check. Okay, I've got my wash done. So there's really not much detail in panel lines and rivets on the wings, but I have used it where there was. But there's heaps on the fuselage. I've painted in exhaust stains, airbrushed them in. I haven't, well, images I've seen them, I don't really see much, but it just adds a bit of detail to the look of the model. The tape at the moment I've got there is a guide for me. I'm going to attempt I'm going to use some oil paint and suggest staining from sitting in the water. Again, whether they sat in the water that much to obtain that, I don't know, but it's just adding more to the look. So yeah, like you would know, I normally use the Flory Models wash, but I went with something different. The bluish wash, which seemed to work alright, but I don't know, for some reason I don't like using enamel or oils on aircraft for washes. I prefer that, but that's probably just what I've accustomed to. Like I won't hesitate on when I'm doing armour to use oil paint or enamel washes, but for some reason when it comes to aircraft I balk, but I don't know why. I glued this float on because I needed to do some filling work on my base around where the floats sit, just to bulk it up, so I'm not when I come to put in acrylic gels and that, don't need to use so much to fill in around the floats. So I glued that one on. I'll wait till I do my staining before I glue the other one on, probably. Okay, so I bumped them. Yeah, so I still haven't painted my figure yet. I've been working on the fuselage. I also gave the engine a wash. Used, that's AK's engine wash. That's what I use probably 99% of the time on a propeller engine. Yeah, so I tried to dull the rudder down a bit and the insignia and top of the wings with a bit of oil paint, just off-white, just put some dots on there and rubbed it along. So the dot filter technique, and then just brush it along, just try and take a bit of the edge off the brightness of it to get it more in sync with the paintwork, the colour scheme. Okay, it is all together finally. So I did the staining on the float, main float, and the wing floats. Mixed a couple of oil colours together and just to give it an appearance of a water line where it had been sitting in the water. The rigging was just as much fun as I thought it was going to be, maybe even more. There was a lot of F-bombs dropped putting it on, just painful. And they're not, some of them, like the ones on the long ones on the wings, aren't really long enough, some of them, so I put them to where they would fit. The antenna line is easy line. I put, by the looks of it, the actual aircraft has behind the navigation lights is like a little post. So I cut some plastic rod, drilled a hole and put that in to attach the antenna wire to. And there's also one that comes up from the side of the fuselage up to the main line. So that is finally complete. Now, let's put it in there a minute. And the propeller is painted up, cleaned up. I should point out, so the propeller in the kit, it's one of those ones where they put a seam line, sorry, not seam line, a panel line in the tip to show where the yellow like the yellow section is, which is obviously is no panel line and a propeller, so I had to fill them, sand them back, and then paint it. I'm still working on the base. It's nowhere near done. So what I've done, I've just finished giving it a coat of clear blue, so the base colour is Tamiya Sea Blue XF17. The lighter areas I just mixed white into that, and I've come over the top with there it is, X23 clear blue, but that's not the end of it. By the time I sit the model in, it'll have a clear coat of gloss varnish. So what do I use? Something like that, an acrylic. I use an acrylic one that gives it the wet look, so the wet effect of the water. But again, this is, I'm no expert on doing ocean. This is what I've learnt. I've picked up off YouTube. There's heaps on there to look at who do that sort of thing all the time. Okay, I'm still working on this base. Like I said, it's got heaps to go. Even though I filled in twice, I still had a gap, so I've been scratching my head trying to work out how I'm going to tackle it. I ended up using the same technique, but I mixed the sea blue into it, but you can see the sea blue has come out a different colour, so I'm going to have to spray it in when it's done. So that's just going to make things tricky, that's all. I have to be careful when I spray not to get overspray onto my buoy and the actual aircraft when it sits in, which so when he sits in there, like so. Yeah, so that's just going to make life hard for myself. But anyway, that's what I got to deal with, so it is what it is. Oh, and also, I didn't show last time, I painted up pilot. As mentioned many times, I'm not a figure painter, so I just do the best I can. Can't do more than that. Alright, so I'm going to take him away. So, yeah, so probably a few more days yet before I can get this completed. Okay, all done. So, the model I finished over a week ago now, I think, and base took a lot longer than I had thought it would have, so I should have got into that a little bit earlier on. The model I can definitely recommend. It's a nice kit. The only frustrations I had was the photo etch aftermarket I bought for it, but that's just me. I dislike photo etch. I guess I just struggle with it in some areas, but it does upgrade a kit, obviously, with the rigging. Your other option, I guess, to do the rigging would be to use some elastic thread or easy line, or maybe nylon fishing line might work as well. But I think that set is more suited for it. It's more realistic to scale, I guess. The water base, still learning with that. Not happy in some areas, especially around the float. when I filled it in and that. The other water bases I've done is only to suit a single hull of a ship, so it was easier to fit it in, whereas here I got put off, made it a bit more difficult having the wing float as well as the main float, and the wings coming out of the aircraft made it a bit difficult to get at, but that's just all learning curve. But and the pilot figure, when I originally mentioned how I was going to do him on the other side, that wasn't going to work because of the rigging, so I've put him, you can see where he is now. It's not too bad, I guess, but I really wanted to incorporate him into the build, so that's where he ended up. That's the best spot I could get him to fit. It does his feet work, it's just the arm to me looks a little bit off maybe, but it's good enough for me. And I really love the 3D printing edition of the seagulls and the buoy. Just adds a bit more to the display. Alrighty, so that is all over and done with that build. I'd really like to see this kit in 1/32 scale. It'll look really nice, and I guess it's a pretty popular subject matter because going by views I get on my videos, this particular models got heaps, so I guess it's a popular subject, which is a little bit surprising to me, but it is a nice aircraft. Anyway, I'm going to add some still photos now of the build. Thanks for watching.